Yo, what's good? Anybody on the playback? Anybody catching this live? Errol Spence just did an interview with Brian Custer yesterday. You feel me? It was real informative. I really should have hopped on here directly after I heard the interview, but I know there's going to be a lot of points that I forget about. But, you know, Errol Spence, he seemed to be on the same track that was always advertised ever since that face-off with Terence Crawford, telling him that he's finna clean up his side of the street. He gonna take the easy route. You know what I'm saying? And your Danis Ugas, he's the last stop to that easy route. Errol Spence and your Danis Ugas, they got a showdown in 11 days with a lot of hardwood on the line, 3 belts on the line. You know what I'm saying? The winner of that fight has to fight Terence Crawford for undisputed. Not have to fight, but you know what I'm saying? If they intend on going for undisputed, they would have to fight Mr. Bud Crawford for that last belt. And both fighters in the fight have show interest in Crawford next. Even your Danis Ugas, if he was to get past the fight, he want Crawford. And Ugas been wanted Crawford. Ugas called out Crawford in like April, May, something like that. You know, he didn't get no answer. But we understand because we know about this undisputed chase that everybody's on. And Errol Spence, he gave a lot of info in that interview with Brian Custer. He showed his house. He showed what he was living like. And he's really into the horses and the farm life. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that he was into it that deep. I thought he had like a horse or two that he rides, but he lives on like a farm looking area and he has a shitload of horses and everything out there. You know what I'm saying? I was kind of surprised to see that. But and he also talked about Jermell Charlo, right? Because these Spence fans, they was making interviews a couple of days ago talking about Spence don't give a fuck. If Charlo's in the way, he's gonna knock his ass off. He's ready to fight him. But Earl said that if he moves up, Charlo gonna have to move up. And he don't really intend on fighting Jermell Charlo, seeing that they are both from Texas. They both in the same stable. They both have Derek James. Even Derek James was talked to about this possibility, and he kind of didn't want anything to do with it. So that clears up that. And Errol Spence's last couple interviews, he's been getting pressed about this guy, Terence Crawford, 3-division champ, you know, looking to be undisputed in the second weight class. Terence Crawford, he's on his head. And everybody feel like Errol Spence been ducking Terence Crawford ever since he moved up to welterweight. You know, and Errol Spence, he wasn't saying Terence Crawford's name when asked about him. He was like, yeah, we finna go get the other one this, the other one that. But he had to clear it up because one day Errol Spence was heard on his baby mama live stream or somebody's live stream saying that, oh, we'll go up to 70-30, 80-20 on Crawford. And a lot of fans took that shit and ran with it and felt like he was offering Bud like 20%, like he was trying to slap Terence Crawford's head. But what people got to understand is Terence Crawford, he was never offered a fight to fight Errol Spence. That's just the bottom line. It's like I hear channels, you know, talking about Errol Spence offered this man 80-20 and shit like that, that they've been going through negotiation throughout these years, and Errol Spence pretty much trying to slap Bud head like he's some type of tune-up and trying to keep the whole pot and shit on Bud, and that's just not true. There's never been any negotiations between these two sides. Now that Bud's not with Bob Arum anymore, he can go to talking to the PBC and go to working on deals. Now, it's a thing that I don't like about this, right? Terence Crawford, he's trying to negotiate deals with the PBC, so he can be on the right side of the street. But there's rumors out there that Spence may not be the first fight on Terence Crawford's PBC deal. And I really don't like this shit, man, because if Errol Spence was to fight anybody besides Crawford next, he's going to look like a bitch. I can't lie to you. Errol Spence, he's been on track. He's been, ever since he told Bud what he told him in his face, that's the track that he's been on. And it's been slowed down by the car accident and by the retinal tear and all that. But Terence Crawford is supposed to be next. And there's no Bob Arum to block the fight. And I hear PBC that they not trying to go in on that next. They want to get Terence Crawford on a long-term deal and build him up with the pay-per-view to see what his pay-per-view numbers look like with a Danny Garcia or Keith Thurman. And I really hate the idea. I wouldn't hate the idea if Bud was fighting one of those two guys like within the next month or two, maybe. So him and Spence can kind of be on the same timeline. But they say Crawford may not fight the August or September. That's going to fuck up the whole timeline for him and Spence. They won't even be able to fight this year if Crawford was to fight again. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think this is a great idea. And I feel like the PBC, they're going to be ruining the image of Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? Because I rip on Canelo for collecting all the belts at 160, but when Demetrius Andrade had that last WBO belt, he didn't know what to do. He fled. He moved up 2 weight divisions and fought Kovalev. If Errol Spence say that he's going to try to get the Crawford fight next, but if they can't get the negotiations right, he's going up to 154 pounds. And I feel like, and Crawford himself, he said if he can't get the fight, he finna go after the Castano-Charlo winner. I really don't want to see either of that happen because like the first one of those two that moves up to 154, everybody going to be calling them a duck, especially Spence. But maybe not Crawford, because shit, Crawford might move up and they going to say, oh, Spence priced himself out. Bud didn't have nothing else to do. And Bud just been elevated to the super champion. So Bud very well can choose to move up and challenge the Charlo Castano winner. Right now, Castano has the belt. You know what I'm saying? Charlo has to win that fight to be in position to fight Bud. You know what I'm saying? But if Errol Spence move up, I mean, does Charlo just drop everything and move up? Being an undisputed champ. Because when I heard Charlo in his interview, he sounded like he wanted to fight somebody else after Castano, assuming that he wins. So that's going to be a real interesting situation. But I just wanted to But I just wanted to touch on this Errol Spence interview. It seems like his plan is to fight Crawford next, but we got to see it if that's in the PBC's plans. Because, like I say, Crawford, he's getting ready to sign a long-term deal with the PBC. I heard rumors it was 2 fights for 30 million. I really think Crawford should sign a longer contract than that, because literally all the belts that he can win from this division to 154 is at PBC. So maybe you're gonna need more than a 2-fight deal, just in case if you lose, so they don't just push you off to the side. You still can get fights and build back up if you was on like a 5-6 fight deal or something like that. And I'm not sure if they would do, they and the PBC, they trying to prevent Crawford from, having a contract where he can beat Spence and then leave, you know what I'm saying, with all the belts. But the future's looking bright. I think the two fighters gonna want to fight next. And your Danis Ugas, he ain't no hoe. So this is all assuming that Spence gets past Ugas.